Heidi ho, guys and gals. I wish I had better news for you today, but there is no excuse for it. This is not happening. I kid you not. Craftsman announced today, Stanley Black& and Decker Craftsman announced today, they're closing the plant that they just built and they put billions of dollars into. What an absolute fiasco. Let's jump into it. Now, first of all, I got to give credit to Tool Guide. They're the ones who broke the news on this. And I'm going to put a link to their article down below. Go check it out. Show them some love. They have reached out to me in the past about like covering stuff that I broke. And I really appreciate that. And just professional courtesy, I want to make sure they always get credit. Somebody did send me a link to another video that was out there. And the video is literally nothing more than just they've put borders around it so you can't see it's Tool Guide, but it's Tool Guide's website. And they just literally went right through the article. Anyway, it is what it is. Give credit to people who actually do the real work. And you're just not repeating somebody else. But anyway, I reached out to my contact at Stanley Black & Decker to hear back from them. And they have, as you may know, if you've been following the channel, because I've been pestering about them, they're still radio silent, and I have not heard anything back directly from any of my contacts over there. But what I did find was that Stanley Black & Decker did have a press release that they announced today, and I'm going to show it to you. Be warned, if you play corporate buzzword bingo, this is going to check all your boxes. The buzzword in this is bad. It is so cringy. Are you ready? Put on you're gonna need more than knee-high boots or waders. You're gonna need the full 9 yards on this one, because you're gonna come out of this one feeling icky. All right, New Britain, Connecticut. Stanley Black & Decker, the 800-pound gorilla, the largest tool company out there. This is what they had to say. As part of Stanley Black & Decker's business transformation strategy launched in 2022, and we're going to talk more about that later. In an effort to optimize its footprint, better serve customers, the company has announced changes to its manufacturing and distribution network, which will include U.S. site expansions, site transformations into manufacturing centers of excellence, and site consolidation. Oh, it's getting deep in here. As part of this effort, the company will announce its transfer. It will transfer its Chura, I'm mangling the name, South Carolina operations to its facilities in Jackson and Gallatin, Tennessee. That's it. Chura's getting hit by this. Texas is getting hit. Jackson and Gallatin are going to get a slight boost. All right, the Chura will discontinue operations, in Fort Worth, Texas. Operations they never really finished. They were just getting started, and they kept telling us, "Oh, we're about to launch. We're about to launch. Oh, it's just around the corner. It's almost there. It's almost there." They got millions in tax credits for building that facility. Are they going to be giving those back? What? There were supposed to be 500 new jobs there. 500 new jobs. And if you go back and watch, I did say, I said, I'll believe it when I see it, but I was rooting for it because in my heart, I'm still that fan bear from way back in the way when I was a little cub and my grandfather had that garage full of Craftsman tools, and we'd go to Sears and trade out tools and get blades for the mower and all that great stuff, and swallowed it hook, line, and sinker. No, I didn't, but I wanted to believe. Oh, anyway. So these actions will impact 175 employees at the Texas facility and 182 employees in South Carolina, while adding, well, for these 80 people, it is a 80 jobs in Tennessee. The company is focused on providing a smooth transition to impacted employees, including options for employment at other Stanley Black & Decker facilities, as well as job placement and support services. Yeah, so if you want to uproot your whole family, pull the kids out of school, and move from Texas to Tennessee, I mean, it could be worse. I mean, there's worse places you could move. Tennessee is a great part of the country. I love Tennessee. And it's not as hot as Texas. Don't get me wrong, I like Texas, but I'd rather be in Tennessee, I think. Although I will be honest, I have East Coast anxiety. When I cross the Mississippi, the further east I go, I get, anyway, we won't talk about that. Anyway, these actions are aligned to the transformation strategy designed to deliver $2 billion in cost savings and are reflective of current economic conditions, which highlighted needed changes in Stanley Black & Decker's production and distribution network. Strategic actions supporting the transformation will also enable a more focused product portfolio, strategic sourcing while delivering operational and service excellence. I'm going to be nauseous. To be fair to Stanley Black & Decker, let's be fair on this. I get it. Post-pandemic, it was clear that there were issues with distribution and the production network, pipeline, all that kind of stuff, in getting materials from China to the United States and shipping. We talked all about that on the channel. I hear you. Closing U.S. production, though, doesn't seem to align with productive strategies that are going to be more focused. I mean, a more focused portfolio just means we're getting rid of all the frills and just getting down to the basics. But there is, if you are paying attention to what's going on in global economics or even U.S. economics, people are talking about a recession coming up and that this could be a bad year economically speaking. We've had the stock market's been having all sorts of issues. This is a major player pulling back and cutting costs. They're tightening the belt because they're getting ready for something that they know about and none of the rest of us do. That's something to consider here. Okay, now they say these efforts will support and strengthen Stanley Black & Decker's core business, drive financial performance, and enable investments to ensure sustainable future growth. That seems like a lack of growth other than in the old pocketbook. Stanley Black & Decker is a major U.S. manufacturer. Yeah, they just go on to talk more and more about Stanley Black & Decker. None of it's really about this. So now Wall Street Journal talks about sums it up really, really nicely. 357 employees, 80 jobs. So basically 357 minus 80, that's how many are going away. This is going to be a huge hit. In fact, I have to honestly apologize to some of our viewers because I posted job listings for Stanley Black & Decker because I always like to help people find good jobs, and they seem like a great job. And I know people on this channel, subscribers, who not only applied for those jobs, but got the jobs and were excited to get started working there. And I'm really sorry that I got you set up with that because this is going to be impacting your family. And I hope that somehow you land on your feet after this. And if we find out about any other job listings in that area, I'll do what I can to put them out there. But my apologies, because it's just so mind-numbing, boggling to figure out that, or try to figure out that they would spend that much money and then shut down a factory like that. Now that said, they even covered this in the Dallas Morning News. 175 jobs as Fort Worth as they shutter the factory that they just started. This, I do not believe, is from that factory because my understanding is this was hand tools. And this was, this is a different factory. And we're going to talk about some of the other factories because this is probably not going to be the last shutdown. Mark my words on that. Now get this, Stanley Black & Decker stock is up. They're beating the S&P 500. They're up after hours after the announcement. Why? Because they're still selling the same amount and they're going to be spending less. And, stock investors like that. They like, spend less, make more. That's a formula they like. But that said, you got to wonder, though, because is manufacturing in the U.S. doesn't have a future? We already saw Malco. They just opened their plant in DeWitt, Nebraska, and I was a huge fan of that. That didn't make it. Malco can't do it. Stanley Black & Decker apparently can't do it. They do have about 40 plants manufacturing stuff across the United States, but of course it's all made in the USA with global materials. And, then you got people like Chainlock who for over 100 years have still managed to make stuff in the USA, on the East Coast no less. What is Channel Lock's secret to this? How are they doing this? Now, I reached out to Channel Lock and said, hey, are you going to step in with the whole vice grip thing? And they said, if Malco can't do it, we can't do it. That really says something. And now you see Stanley Black & Decker pulling back. Now, this just may be them going, we see something on the horizon and we see the music stopping, as it were, and we want to make sure we got a seat at the table. But that's a lot of money to walk away from. It really is. And worse yet, and here's the hook. Last year, Stanley Black & Decker said this. They were going to be shutting down a significant portion of its 120 plants starting next year. Now, that's not just in the U.S., it's 120 worldwide. They're shutting down the plants to upgrade until we've upgraded our supply chain. So they're going to be cutting costs and trying to reduce all the branching they have in their supply chain to get products manufactured and to market. And I mean, that's smart business and it makes sense. But, going from Texas to your local Lowe's or Home Depot seems a lot easier than going from Taipei. But what do I know? I'm not a logistics manager here for Stanley Black & Decker. Clearly, they know more than I do. It's really sad to hear this. I know a lot of the Craftsman fanboys they've been saying to me for years, as I've been chiding Stanley Black & Decker for their, not just Craftsman, all of Stanley Black & Decker, and especially Craftsman as well, for it's not made in the U.S. anymore. And they're like, but you wait, the Texas plant is coming. The Texas plant is coming. It's not. And I don't see manufacturing in the U.S. growing anytime soon. Tecton is trying to do what little it can, but do you see any other major U.S. manufacturer growth? We got Wright Tools, you got Snap-on, SK's gone. They've moved most of their manufacturing to China. Shopvac moved most of they were going to be doing stuff in Pennsylvania. They're gone now. They're China and Vietnam. It's just, and I don't want to get political. I'm not going to get, you guys can say what you want, but it sure seems like there was a line where all the manufacturing was coming up. It was all great. And then suddenly something changed and now it's all going away. You make of it what you will. Anyway, again, I'll put links to, Tool Guide, and I'll put links to the Stanley Black & Decker official PR release, so you can check those out. And if my contact at Stanley Black & Decker decides to grace me with her presence and tell me what's going on and give me anything outside of this, I will update you with that as possible. If it's a big news blurb, I'll do a video on it. If it's something small, I'll put it in the community section. Make sure you check out the community posts over there. We always try to put some stuff there. We also post some stuff to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for as long as they're around. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. You all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on.